If you're planning on buying any cards from TCG Player, make sure you use our affiliate link right here in the description of our video to help support the channel. It's the best way to do it and it's free. Make sure you check out Poton Store. They have the new Sword and Shield codes already available and they have automatic email delivery for these codes. You can get them in batches of 50 codes with a slight discount or individually for 89 cents each. They also have all these other promo codes. They have every other set you could imagine, and if you use Tablemon code, you get 5% off your final purchase. For the European players, Millibuds Gaming has everything from collectibles to all the latest cards from the latest sets, Cosmic Eclipse, Hidden Fates, and everything from Sun and Moon. Don't forget to check it out and use Tablemon code when checking out in order to get 5% off your final purchase. Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new day of Road to Digi Worlds 2020. Sorry for the lack of videos, I've just been very busy with many things. I started a motion graphics course and I've been trying to keep up with that, and also as you've seen I've been traveling for tournaments. I actually flew to a double cup this weekend, which was here in Mexico. Both cups were actually very small, only 10 people each, and I got top 4 in both. One was standard, one was expanded, but yeah, overall would not recommend, will never do it again. The system this year is so stupid, but anyways, besides that, we are now in the final countdown for Sword and Shield. The set comes out in exactly 10 days in PTCGO, so I'm very excited, and I figured these next 10 days we can do a sort of like countdown of 10 decks that I believe will have an impact going into the new metagame. The new rules will definitely impact the game quite a lot, both in standard and expanded, so I figured why not take a look at these 10 decks gearing up towards the Australia tournament, the OCIC, which is the big like release and the big spotlight for Sword and Shield. So these lists, or a couple of these, are from the Japanese Champions League Aichi tournament that took place in December. They already have the cards. I've been playing with them for a while, and I'm very excited to be able to play with them in February. Mewtwo with Malamar is apparently a big thing right here. This is the deck that I've been playing with a little bit against the people that I coach who are interested in playing this standard format. The deck has actually been working out pretty well, and we had a Brazilian regional tournament this past weekend where we haven't seen the deck list, but a Malamar Mewtwo deck actually did well, so I'm assuming it's based off of this. It should be very similar. I don't know. Hopefully the lists get published soon. But yeah, we have Malamar, of course, with Psychic Recharge. It's the main selling point. You get energy acceleration, and now with the power of Quick Ball, discarding a card from your hand and searching out a basic Pokemon. You have all these basic Pokemon you can search for. You have a very easy and simple way to get energy in the discard pile, or the Pokemon for Mewtwo to copy the attacks off of. We have Mysterious Treasure as well, which does the same thing, except it searches for a Psychic or Dragon, so it can basically search for every single Pokemon except the DNA GX and Mega Lopunny and Jigglypuff. So a lot of ways to discard all the Pokemon, including Professor Magnolia as well. And we have a wide array of attackers, which include Turnant, Dusknoir, GX. I've been using this card a lot lately. I got top 8 at Dallas Regional with a deck based around it. And of course, Night Watch is as powerful as ever. Taking cards away from your opponent's hand is always good, especially if they play themselves into a low card hand, trying to thin, and then you just get rid of whatever they did decide to keep. And Pale Moon GX is also a pretty powerful attack, stripping your opponent's Pokemon from all the energy. Usually, decks seem to be running a very high count of switching cards, in standard for certain shield. However, stripping your opponent out of energy in a deck that doesn't have energy acceleration or energy recovery like Malamar does might be very, very lethal. And next up we have NDDV. As you can see right on your screen, we have its ability Watch Over, where once your turn you may heal 20 damage from your active Pokemon, and big thanks to Limitless for the translated scans. Those are very, very useful. So you get to heal some damage, which is actually kind of impactful because, for example, a Zacian V that hasn't used ADP's GX attack can hit you for 230 damage, and then once you heal 20, if you have the big amulet attached, you are actually out of range of getting sniped by the Dustmane Necrozma or a cheap follow-up attack like Lucario Melmetal's the first attack that does 50 damage. I forget the name. So this is actually potentially pretty important, pretty significant. Though the main selling point, of course, is the Psychic attack, which does 10 damage plus 60 more damage times the amount of energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. So you punish heavy energy attackers like Registard, like Pikarom especially, but in the mirror match, it's a 2-pricer that can 1-hit KO a Mewtwo that has 2 energies? No, they need to have 3 energies, which most of the time they will. So it's also a V attacker, which means you can bypass any Latios GX shenanigans that might have been happening. I'm very surprised that this list does not play a single Giratina, or that the Malamar list weren't playing a single Giratina. I feel like having that for a non-GX attacking option makes sense. But they've been playing with the set for a long time, so maybe the meta just doesn't merit something like that. And then we have good old partners for Mewtwo that we were seeing in the Welder decks, which include Latios GX for Tag Purge. We have Ninetale GX's Venom Shot. We have Dragonite GX's Sky Judgment, which we didn't actually see too much in Standard because of Macarlo GX, but since we're only running Psychic Energies, and Sky Judgment costs 5 colorless energies, and it's pretty nice to be able to get those 1-hit KOs. Then Megalopony and Jigglypuff GX is a great way to punish decks like Pikarom, which play a ton of GXs down. And then we have Mimikyu Gengar, which has 2 really good attacks, right? Poltergeist allows you to look at your opponent's hand and deal 50 damage for every trainer. And as you can see, like ourselves, we are playing upwards, almost 30 trainers. Yeah, 34, 20, 25, yeah, upwards of 30 trainers. So dealing a lot of damage off of Poltergeist is very, very simple. And then we have Horror House GX, which stops your opponent from playing any cards from their hand. But if you have 2 energy attached to it, you also make them draw cards until they have 7. And you draw cards yourself. So it's card advantage, you punish them for having those extra cards because they also can't play any. And Horror House GX, especially going second, I feel is really powerful because imagine a scenario where your opponent, you won the coin flip, you chose to go second, which I believe is correct. And then your opponent just has an underwhelming turn 1 where they don't play a supporter, they maybe bench something, attach an energy, and then pass. And then next turn you go Horror House GX, so they're going to have a second underwhelming turn where they literally can't do anything other than attack you or retreat. But off of 1 turn with no supporter, what are the real chances of that? So I believe Horror House GX will be utilized very effectively in a way where you just stop your opponent from having a second good turn, whereas you get 2 turns to set up your bench and then evolve and then start overwhelming your opponent. And then since we are playing a ton of GXs and we have the Cherish Balls and the Quick Balls, playing 2 Dedenne GX to Dedenne Change away and find the resources you need makes a lot of sense. Now in the trainers department we have quite a few new inclusions, which include Professor Magnolia, the good old discard your hand and draw 7 cards. Next up we have Marnie. Marnie is really cool because it's an attack on your opponent's hand, right? Different than Reset Stamp, which you can see it's missing in this deck. But it's also acceleration for you, and the effect of putting cards in the bottom of your deck and drawing from the top it's different, right? Rather than shuffling, you actually have to shuffle your hand, but you don't shuffle your deck. So it can be a double-edged sword. If you have something in your hand that you might have wanted to redraw, then you know you're definitely not redrawing that. But also, like, if you're looking for something specific, your chances of finding it are much higher because the cards you're putting back are not getting shuffled. So even though you are making your deck thicker, you're not thinning your deck, you're actually drawing cards that you know which ones they won't be, right? So there's a lot of trickery that you can do there, and especially with the new Oranguru, that goes really well with Marnie, but of course there's no space for that in this deck. The matches I've played, the bench gets really clogged really quickly with this deck. Next up, we have the quick pull that I already mentioned. You discard card from your hand, which pairs up nicely with all the Pokemon you want to discard so that Mewtwo can access them, and also the psychic energies that you need in the discard pile. And you get to search for any basic Pokemon, which includes your Inkays, your Mewtwo's, your Trevenors, and the Dene as well. Treasure finds you your Psychic and Dragon types. Switch allows you to switch back and forth to power up and utilize Psychic Recharge. We have Cherish Balls as well to search for everything, so we have 7 outs to the Dene. We also have ways to find like a Lopunny as well, so a lot of variety here. And then we have Double Great Catcher to make sure that once we have powered up for Dragonite GX's Sky Judgment, we can just chase whatever they have, or even do a cool play where we bring something that's not a threat, and then we snipe with Venom Shot. Balloon is another brand new card that helps us with the retreating. Actually attaching to a Malamar is what I've been finding myself doing, because you then get to have retreat on your Malamar, so they're not going to get stuck in the active in order to stall you, and also you get that free retreat pivot all the time. And Big Amulet giving you that 30 extra HP can be very clutch. Doesn't seem like a lot of decks will be able to hit for 300 damage overall, as that's what the Big Amulet puts you at with the Mewtwo and the Trevenor. Lopunny also goes up to 270 HP, so there's a lot of room for playing, and having extra HP right now is better rather than something like Choice Helmet, purely because you don't... Choice Helmet protects from GXs, but now there are V Pokemon to worry about. And then we have 3 Chaotic Swell to avoid any power plant shenanigans, which is really cool. That way you will always have abilities activated. And then you have a very healthy 10 Psychic Energy count. So a lot of synergy with this deck. If you're familiar with Malamar, this will be... the concept will be very similar. However, the wide array of attackers is now incredibly vast, rather than only relying on Giratina and using Distortion Door over and over. If I were to add a Giratina to this deck, I would definitely take out possibly one of the Big Amulets. Since even though it's a nice card, I haven't found it to be like super clutch in particular situations. And then I would add one Giratina for Distortion Door. And there's like some neat little tricks where if you Distortion Door an ADP, then it is in range of Sky Judgment, whereas if you don't have that, then you actually won't be able to get the 1 KO because they do have 2 8 HP. But if they have a Big Amulet, then it's a moot point anyways. But yeah, try out the deck. Definitely pretty fun to use. Pretty different concept for Malamar. I think it might need some Pokemon recovery, because I have found myself having to not use Professor Magnolia purely because I ended up drawing 2 Malamars in my hand, and if I prize the other one, then it starts getting very icky and very yucky with all the discarding, because there's no way to recover those Malamars. But yeah, that would be my thoughts on this deck. I hope you enjoyed looking at this. We're going to have 10 different deck profiles leading up to the release of the set on PCGO on the 6th of February, where I will be trying to stream for as long as I can with all the new cards and all the new deck concepts in Standard that is about to get this bomb of a set. So yeah, don't forget to leave a like. Really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet. I will see you in the next video. Bye.